everybody, and welcome to another episode of Breaking the Block. So, here we are writers and authors helping writers and authors, and sometimes other creatives too, because we all kind of tend to have the same little mindset. And if you have any questions, make sure to pop them in the chat. But I'm going to go ahead and let my co hosts introduce themselves. So, if you want to go Rita, Skye, Magie, Rach.
Okay. I'm Rita, also Miranda over at Miranda's Cauldron. I write young adult urban fantasy, more like paranormal. And I hope to have an actual book published this year, but we'll see because it's kind of on hold.
That is actually awesome.
We believe in you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Skye. I'm a fantasy author who typically writes paranormal romance under SD Haggis, and I'm barely awake because I live streamed last night until like 4 in the morning.
Woohoo!
Hello, lovelies. Mama Maggie Ward, independent author, stroke survivor, migraine overcomer. I have books. Yes. And coffee.
It's one of those days.
I have coffee.
I am Rach, or Rachel D. Adams, who goes along with pair Rachel D. Adams and Don McClellan. We write the Dragon Tasker series, The Life and Loves of a Dragon, and our Dragon Tasker universe stories. We have been published for a couple of years, and I've been on my way to try and help other writers with their work too.
All right. And for those of you that don't know me, hi, I'm Sam Wicker. There's no rhyme or reason to me. I'm an author. That's about it.
And she has books like The Bell Earth Witch and I'm No Hero. Which are good books. You should read them.
Too.
Yeah.
Very epic.
Oh, yeah. All right. Skye pulling double duty. We've got a Cat Paul. Good morning. And a Sako and an Eve. Good morning. I also wasn't late this week. It's understandable. Trust me. I was almost late to my own show because I was with Skye until, 2:30? Somewhere around there.
Something
in the
like
morning.
that.
Oh, yeah. I'm old.
I was
y'all.
almost late, but that's because to the topic that I suggested, because the things and the things plus the things.
Yeah. Nice little segue. So here.
And now my social media is done.
What? Oh. It's all good. All right. So, topic for the day. Let's talk about that writer life when it's broken and you just can't do it anymore.
Anybody want to start on that?
I figure we get the big one out first, and then we just go from there.
It's my suggestion, so I'll start. Okay, so we all know writing is a process. First, you think of the book. Then there is all the doing of the book. And then there is all the doing of the editing and the formatting and the publishing and everything else that goes with writer life. But sometimes you hit this, as a writer, you hit this space where you just, is it worth it? Why? I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. This feels like homework or term papers instead of something that I'm loving. And, my default, because OCD gold brain is a thing, especially with Gen Xers, you start the project, must finish the project, no matter what's going on around you. Must do all the things and the things plus the things. And and that is why I will project dump into editing, or I will project dump and go into story seed development, or I will project dump and go into research. But really that does not solve the problem of sometimes I just don't want to do it. And a couple of years ago, like 3 years ago, it was the second year of the pandy. I was sitting in the background of the Discord chat with a whole bunch of writers that I knew, and considered myself to be friends with, internet friends with, and someone that I had really like thought I was going out of the way to support and encourage their book. I had posted the vlog about getting stuff done, and this is where this was going and stuff like that. And that was part of the reason I stopped doing those update vlogs, because she made and she's so proud of the 2,000 to 5,000 words a day she writes, and I bet they're crap. And I'm so sick. And she went on a tirade. Someone I thought was my fellow mom writer, and I didn't say anything. I just quietly booped out of the Discord call and let her continue to rant. But that crawled into my subconscious, and the imp ate that like an 8-course buffet. It was all you could eat, and my imp was sitting there cracking the crab claws and dipping them into the tiramisu. And it fed on me. It fed on me for like a year before I went back and started reassociating with that entire author group. Because I was like, oh, she was just having a rant day to her. But like the next 2 times I was around them, that feeling was there. And I don't know if it was my insecurities, or I don't know if I was actually catching vibes from them, but I had to step back. And I've remained close with 2 of them. But I mean, being told that your work is invalid, your process is invalid, your pseudo success. Now, I consider success holding the print. That is my success. Not sales, not reviews. Holding this is what makes OCD Goldbrain happy. And that's how I process success. And then right after, like a month later, I started into these migraine swarms, which also pulled me further out of that author life. And between my health and the imp and just complete discouragement, it took my daughter talking me into staying. You promised me you would finish these books. You promised me you would publish these books so I can hold them too. And it's hard. It's hard when you have people who, like, you're trying to help them. You're trying to be a good beta reader. You're trying to be a good critique partner. And to just be attacked blindsided like that. Yes, Eva, you do. And no, I'm not going to go into who it was. It's painful. And, oh yeah, so what, she's rapid releasing. So what, she's putting out a book every month or every 6 weeks or every 10 weeks. All of her stuff is it's just that fluffy hi-fi sci-fi fantasy crap.
Like,
well, some people like to read that. And I'm sorry that not all of us can write stuff. And it's just, yeah, it's the imp. The problem is the imp. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a writer or not. That imp of imposter syndrome, not just in writer's life, but in every aspect of life. That imp talks to you in the voice of the person that as a child you most wanted to impress, but criticized you the most. The person whose love and praise you wanted to earn, but never could. Doesn't matter if you're 55 or 30 somethings over here. 20-somethings, teens, it doesn't matter. That voice crawls around in your head and it slithers up your spine and it gnaws on you. It's quick. Sam knows this. The name of the worm, the worm that chews on the roots of the tree of life. Norse myth. Yamagir. What? It's
Yggdrasil.
that. It's
Not
the worm.
Yggdrasil, the tree. It's the crap. You had to ask me when I'm brain
I
dead.
can remember the name of the tree. I can't remember the name of the parasite. But that thing is a parasite. And it literally crawls into you and it gnaws on every little bit of confidence and positivity and everything that makes you feel good about yourself as that writer or that worker or that mom or that friend or that sister or anything. And this is what I'm talking about today, that complete undermining of your lack of skills. And they're just, everyone's like, oh, it's just words. They were having a bad day. Just you'll forget about it. Walk away from it. It's not that easy.
No, especially not if it's somebody that you care about. And it sounds like it was somebody that you cared about.
Thank you, Skye.
I can't pronounce it. I'm not even going to try. I'll butcher it.
Y'all just don't do parasite eating roots tree of life because you get weird things.
Yeah.
You do. I did that first. I was like, oh, that's not what I was looking for.
What is it? I should not have Googled that. I should not have Googled that. Yes. In Hagrid's voice. It has to be in Hagrid's voice when you hear that in your head.
Oh.
The I should not have said that. Yeah, I should not have Googled that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to overcome that. I am done with author life. I am done with writer's life. I'm done with publisher's life. I'm done with ...
I filed that away with oh, go ahead.
It triggers something in us that just feeds the imp. Yeah, Jenna's right. You learn not to trust yourself when you're given enough evidence, even if the evidence is from a biased source. You just, and I know that not everybody has the very toxic trait of OCD goal brain to just go, okay, I'm done with this. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to finish, to compartmentalize and just do that. Because compartmentalizing, while it's a great survival mechanism, it is a suck coping mechanism long term.
Yeah.
Charlie says hello.
Oh, he's a kitty.
All right, so
she knows I'm upset. She can smell it.
Yep. The person was yucking on your yum. I like that. I've always liked that.
So what do you guys do how do you step around the pit that somebody else dug for you to fall in?
I decided to build bridges over it because my mom was mine and she's the voice. So I just got to where I was like, everybody does things differently. And if somebody, and also I had a really hard struggle with, okay, so to explain, where I grew up, bless your heart. Okay. So this was the culture I grew up in. They would be so kind and so sweet and everything to your face, and then they would go and have a backstabbing session with their buddies or with the people that they were trying to control. So I decided a long time ago that I had to just get past that. I had to stop questioning every comment that came my way, every compliment that comes my way. I used to question it. Everybody that came my way, I had to stop and think, okay, they're not working against me, because that's the culture I came from. Literally, it was like growing up with drow. I was like, what the hell? No matter what I did, that was always a possibility that somebody was trying to undermine me. So I had to realize that I just had to build over that. I just had to be like, okay, I'm just going to keep going. And if they want to hang out back there and talk about me, that's fine. I must be a very interesting person. So if they're taking their time to talk about me, somebody's talking about me. And then came along Pirates of the Caribbean, and my favorite quote, which is, "But you do remember me." You do
I
know
was
my
going to
name.
quote that. I
You
was
know
going to
my
quote that.
name. Even, and so I was like, that's it. It's like, oh, you must be the worst writer ever. Okay. But you do know me. Okay. That's fine. Whatever. So that's how I have finally overcome that part of the imp. Also, I just, like, I'm one of those type of people that just loves to write, loves to keep my characters going, loves to see what's going to happen next when my characters are concerned. And I've got a partner in crime that helps with that addiction. So that helps out too. It's not just me. So that's something that some people can't lean on. I don't know. You had your daughter. So there was that. That's like, look, just keep going. Um, there's just as many people out there that love your books, if not more people that love your books than there are detractors. And you just got to remember that.
I think the way I
I did.
handle it now is so much different than I would have handled it even like a year or two ago. Because these days, if that kind of thing happened to me, the moment someone was talking that kind of crap to me, they would be blocked so fast it's not even funny because I don't need that negativity in my life. Um, but as far as like how you come back from it, for me, writing has always been the cathartic release. So even if I don't ever publish a single word I ever write, I will be writing. And I think that's what helps is that I would back away from the publishing side of things for a while and just do the writing side of things until I got, hey, I'm going to publish this anyways. I don't care what people say, kind of thing, thought process back.
Yeah, pretty much for me too. I'm just a writer. If I don't publish, that's okay. If no one reads my books, that's okay. But I had different parents. My parents were pretty supportive in whatever I did, and I would be posting years ago my updates on Facebook, and my mom would comment, "Are you ever going to get that finished?" But she always did that like in a positive kind of attitude. So, and then now, if I'm struggling and trying to get things done and I just don't want to, or the amp, which pops in quite often, and unlike my parents' voice, it's my husband's voice that says, "You're never going to get published. You're never going to do it. You're never going to make any money off of it." And then if I'm not writing, he'll be like, "Well, why aren't you writing with your friends? Why aren't you sprinting? You should be sprinting." So it's kind of negative and positive. But I just sometimes you just need a break. And if you have the support around you, even if it is like your kids, your parents, or whoever, just get back on it and don't let the imp win. The muse always wins, so just keep on writing.
So, y'all know I have depression, anxiety, all that good stuff. And I have and had some of the best support systems in place in the world. I never had anybody tell me you can't do that because they knew when I was younger, especially, that if they told me that, I was going to go ahead and do it anyway. But now that I'm older and I have the trauma that I have that I'm still trying to work through, it's the opposite. Somebody tells me I can't do something, then I'm like, screw it, I can't do it. So the voice in my head that tells me that I'm trash or unloved or can't finish this book or these words are crap or you can't even edit. Why are you even trying? It's my own voice. So it's difficult to overcome yourself. And even with my mom's voice in my head, my dad's voice in my head, my sister being excited over my books, my husband and y'all, and it's like y'all are lying to me. That's what I think. That's what the voice tells me. They're lying. They're just being nice because, like Rachel, I grew up in that environment where everybody was nice to your face, but what they were really thinking, they told everybody else. So, yeah, it just is a constant struggle. And honestly, the only thing that I can tell you if you're going through this is bite down on it and push through. You just got to keep going. And the only thing that helps me keep going is knowing that I want these books. And I am the only one that can write them. Those are the two things I tell myself that keep me going, that keep that stubbornness as the first horse or the first dog or whatever you want to say.
Dawn says in the comments, I keep going on with my life because I have one of my family that are like this. Everything I do, they seem to need to top or do better. And I have very few that I have contact with. Eva says their view of us is already etched in stone. If they aren't talking about us, what's bothering them? So why bother? That's where I am in my life. Sako says, I have always been encouraged by my folks in my career.
Took me a while to find the comments. My gosh.
Oh, it's like 917. It's way back up there. Then we were talking about Jack Sparrow. Jenna says, that's why some of us hermit. It's safer to the business and the self.
We try to pull each other out of the trenches.
We do.
This community is amazing. I've never found a group of people where everybody was supportive like this. There's always that one or two or three that's like, you suck.
I secretly talk terrible about all of you guys behind closed doors.
Yeah.
All of the bad things.
Devin says my eye opener was reading 1-star reviews of one of my favorite books.
Yeah.
And the flip side of that is reading books. Okay, there are books, and I'm not going to name them. You can guess that I couldn't get past the first chapter on before I was like, oh no, this is not going to happen. I'm not reading this. And it's not only a #1 bestseller, it is a movie. So I'm like, I mean, if they can do it,
well, it's like that 5 chapter. I have that 5 chapter DNF rule. I must finish chapter 5, and it's like by chapter 2, I'm like, I don't want to turn the page. I don't want to turn the page. But yeah, and how did this person get a $50,000 signing bonus and a movie deal and merch deals and for this book?
Yeah.
Why?
So and I don't mean to yuck other people's yums, so I'm not going to say what it is or anything, but I'm like there are and it again, it could be like a thing that's like just not mine. It's not something that I can deal with, and it's everybody else. Everybody else apparently loves it. So, and that started me thinking, well, apparently that's how all books are. Somebody's going to love this book, and other people may not. So why not?
Yeah. Dawn is calling you out, Rachel. She says, I never wanted to put our stuff out there because of that. But now I'm like you. Like, there is something we wanted to do and we did it. Who else can say they took something so amazing? Eva has a suggestion for a future breaking block, dealing with book critiques. Skye says, I never read the reviews of my own books. I don't want to know, and I love the idea of reading.
Yeah, I feel this, but in me, because we're tuning into a writing closet, never emerging is such a temptation. Yeah.
Cass says, Beller the Witch was objectively good. The fact that I know is the icing on the cake.
Thank you. Thank you. That makes me feel better. Again, the imp is still already hidden, but thank you.
It's like we can get a signed copy now. Ooh.
Yeah, I've finally got a pile of them over here. Books of those who antagonize me is this right here.
Yeah.
And then you read their book and you're like, that's like the best feeling. That's like revenge story origin right there.
I have been lucky not to deal with that kind of thing in the author community, but here's to all those people who graduated with me.
To all of those who said I would never make it, congrats, you were wrong.
Go eat that crow and enjoy it.
To the neurologist that thought I would be dead in a nursing home 2 years after my stroke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look at me now.
Yeah. It's hard though, because I mean, those words become like cotton wrapped around your head to the point that everything is muted except the negativity.
You just got to remember to pull it off.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's
Cammy, I love you.
This is a hard topic. This is a hard topic because we all feel this, and everyone who's out there struggling through that writer's life, that editor's life, that mom life overlapping into writer's life, editor's life, that grandma life overlapping into mom life, editor's life, that disabled person, health issues life overlapping into that writer's life. We all are pushing through this so hard, and there's no one's going to do a TED Talk or sell a masterclass course on how to kill your imp.
That needs to be your masterclass course.
Everyone has their own methods.
I want to see the artwork for it. Sako.
Yeah, yes.
So you're in.
Sako's doing the art. I'll provide the comfort food recipes.
I guess I could provide the pharmaceutical knowledge.
I know that Dawn and I know plenty of places to hide bodies, so there's
Killers. This is all for research purposes.
Or are we?
Always write your novel as a practice. Wait, what? No, I didn't say anything.
Friday the 13th is what we're celebrating.
Oh, John's home stretch. Okay. I was like, what are we celebrating on Friday the 13th? Got it. Understood.
New job. She's going to take a week off. She's gonna have actual hours that are normal hours. So we can
internet provider, which there is none.
They have them not to live there.
Yeah. So we did up our plan, but it's still, I don't know, it's still crap. But yeah, what would breaking the block be without, buffering? Yeah. Yay, Dawn. Resource purposes, yeah. We don't know where all the pig farms are. No.
The problem
I don't
is,
live next
the
door.
problem is all the people who think about pig farms, they can now test pigs for the presence of human cholesterol molecules. So if you're thinking about throwing your victim into the pig farm, those pigs have to go off to slaughter before the federale find you.
I was just going to suggest that. I was like, that pig was scheduled for slaughter months ago. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I sold every bit of meat that was on that pig. Sorry, I didn't keep any for myself.
Yep.
I gotta look up something because I think I read
Yeah, we're just not right.
how to get by that.
Just
At some point, I'm
FYI,
going to have to write one.
Just FYI, there are a dozen different commonly planted garden landscaping plants, flowers that people put that will kill you. Just saying.
Hmm.
Death by gardening. Their roots, their seeds, their sap. Yeah.
See, I would be one of those wicked people that would not get found out because I didn't cover my tracks well enough. It would be because of my own hubris. There are so many carnivorous plants here on the coast of North Carolina, and it would just be fun if I was going to take out an enemy to feed plants. I mean, it'd just be fun. And
well,
it's the same. I mean, I've seen several stories like that where the person who is the murderer actually likes it. So
they make the jokes of plants, endangered native plants over the body. That is the current joke going around. Yeah, that doesn't work because they can go down, scoop over. Yeah, the idea of digging a 10-foot hole, you don't want to do that either because if it's that deep, it won't properly decompose. Throwing it under a cow corpse will work, but then you still have the human corpse under the cow corpse, and there is ground penetrating radar. So. Yeah, I love all these, all these little TikTok things that get onto Instagram and Facebook and stuff, and like how to hide your body. No, that won't work.
That won't work.
And that won't work. If you're interested, I shared the link to the Alnwick Poison Garden in England. It is a very interesting place. There's a YouTube video that is on their main page. This is so fascinating to me, and this is so much something a royal would do. Plant a garden of nothing but poisonous plants to make antidotes and study them. But yeah.
Old school boiler room, yeah. So
cremation is so far the best way to get rid of a body.
Yeah.
However, it's not fast, and it requires very high temperatures. 700 degrees or more for 4 to 10 hours, depending on the size and density of the person you are.
Yeah. And to get enough heat, usually you have to make things smaller. So that does, the cutting up and everything. Yeah. And yeah.
See, look, we thought about these things.
Here's the thing. There's a guy who literally froze his wife in a freezer, ran her through a wood chipper into a river in winter. And forensic guy walking on the shore with his grandson in the spring found one of her teeth. They started doing research and and here's the other thing. Running someone through a wood chipper, you cannot clean that all away.
No.
2 years later, they found the wood chipper and it still tested positive for human. Yeah. Yeah, Cammy, work at a funeral home.
Yeah, that's your best bet right there.
I like how this topic devolved into this. This is
It
fantastic.
did. See,
Well, the thing
that's
is
what
we-
happens
we-
because we're
We
getting rid of our
started
enemies.
talking
You know?
about those that were dragging us down and those that were making us wanting to quit. And the natural evolution in the hunter-gatherer mindset of the hunter-gatherer is hunt and kill your enemies. And this is a whole thing. This is a normal arc of human behavior.
But
Get
we're
rid of
writers,
the
so we're
enemies.
just going to write about it.
But
Yeah.
now we live in a civilized society, so we don't do that anymore. We just write their deaths in our books because, yes.
I thought I was harsh, just blocking their butts. No,
I will kill you in my books, and I will kill you in multiple books.
See, no, I don't want that person to live forever in the written word. So
Same.
they're
Right.
gone.
Wood Chipper Hubs was one of Kathy Reich's cases. Oh, was it? Cool.
Yeah.
This case right here is pretty interesting too. Bonnie Woodward. I read a little bit about it on some true crime YouTube video that we watch for resource and reasons.
Yeah, I will literally put on the true crime channel and just let it run when no one else is home but me. And it's like, I'm sure that my FBI agent, before I got an AI FBI agent bot, was just like, what the hell is wrong with this housewife?
Many things.
It's no longer the guardian angel. The guardian angel got up and left a long time ago. The only one watching us now is the FBI.
Yeah.
Abyss says hello.
Hello,
Yeah.
Abyss.
Oh, I want to show you something. Okay, little tiny kitty.
Okay.
Look how big his paws are.
Mm-hmm.
Panther.
Yep.
And I have two of them. I have two of them that are completely identical, not a white fur on them.
Okay. So, pulling back from the whole murder show mystery thing, are we good with how to deal with a broken writer life?
I mean, we've come from, very, very proper ways of dealing with it, therapeutic ways of dealing with it, to how to hide a body. Yes.
Yeah. Good versus unhinged.
Yeah. We recommend the more socially appropriate way.
Yes.
However, in
Are we
this
going to have to start putting
economy,
disclaimers on this?
in this economy, prison does come with free room and board.
Paper and pencil, possibly, maybe.
Yeah, it does. Library. Free access to a library. And a priest.
It's becoming
And
more
medical
and more
care. And
Yes,
medical care. I am going to have to write Orange is the New Retirement.
Yes.
I'm going to have
Copyright
to
it quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. For legal purposes.
Oh no, but I have talked to several writers lately that are struggling with this. I'm about to throw the keys to my writer career out the window and be done with it. Lock it all in the closet and just throw it. And it's a hard struggle for all of us. It really, really is. And I mean, I know, I think Skye and I, what was it, 3 years ago when Caro stepped back from that writer life. she changed her job, and Carol Brown,
Mhm.
when she stepped back from that writer's life, and
She's still in the writer's life. She's just not on YouTube.
yeah, and it was like, I miss her streams, and I miss socializing with her a lot. Um, and it just life gets in the way, and the imp gets in the way, and it's hard sometimes. It's hard to get over that hump and get back into the I love my writing, I love my yeah, Cammy, basically. Sometimes it feels that way. And it's like, and also, as writers, if you're not best selling with an agent and and it's really like, there are toxic places and toxic platforms. You guys all know that how I feel about Book Talk and Goodreads.
That's a subject all to its own. What how do I word this? What standards are they going by? Because I see people talk about reviews on Goodreads, and they show me, samples. And now I've been lucky enough not to have that. But some of these people who are reviewing it as if they are editors, not readers. It's like, what? You are a reader in this case. You are not an editor. So why are you tearing this book apart? Is it like this psychological thing that you've got going on, that you feel better if you tear somebody's book apart? I don't understand that. And also on TikTok or Book Talk, as you can tell, I don't do that very often. Get on there, but I did put some stuff up, and just out of social media, got to do that. But I've seen some book talks that are like that too, and I'm like, why would you do that? Like, I don't understand the why of it.
Well, there's some book reviewers, their whole career is, this is the next book that I hate.
Mhm. It's clickbait because people click on negativity faster than they will click on positivity.
That's
I found an booktuber that does like 4 to 8 hour teardowns of books. And it's like, the more popular the book is, the longer the person goes. And I don't.
She goes. Let's see. A lot of readers fail to accept in indie that editors can make suggestions all they want. We know half of what we suggest is not accepted, and that's often where reviews scream. No. I like this. DM the author.
Oh yeah, if I see something that's obvious, I have either DM'd the author or send an email to the author. The one time that I did have to DNF a book because it was so full of grammatical errors that I couldn't turn a page without finding at least 3. I sent them an email and I never got anything back, and they never changed anything on their book. So I don't know what that was about.
See, and I don't understand that. If there's like grammar errors or stuff, here's the advantage of being an indie author. 72 hours and it's gone.
Right. And I was just kind of taken aback because these were errors that, like, if you had the free version of Grammarly or the free version of PWA, or and I was like thinking, well, maybe they're like, English is their second language and they were just trying or something. So I was giving them every benefit of the doubt. I wouldn't leave I don't like leaving negative, reviews for that kind of thing, but it's just that, just to me, I would much rather somebody reach out to me and go, "Hey, did you realize that such and such was there?" And then that way I can just go to Atticus and change it and put it back out.
Mhm. Yeah.
Also, don't report the book to, if it's on Amazon, don't report it to Amazon when you do that, because it automatically removes it until the
Yeah.
author fixes it, even if there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. Some things are stylistic choices versus actually being wrong. And
Yeah.
readers don't take that into account always either.
It's like my Madam
Mhm.
Editor knows that I use most of her suggestions, but there are a couple times that I'm like, oh well, but he would have said it that way, you know. I know it's incorrect.
And when you submit a book, when you're on the back end of Amazon, I don't know if Ingram, Spark, and Lily and the other platforms do this, but when you're on the back end of Amazon and you submit a book, it will pull up a thing and tell you if there are misspellings in the book. Not necessarily grammar things, but like blatant misspellings.
Yeah.
And like it because I have fantasy names and fantasy, not just character names, but object names. I will get those flags.
I've
And
actually got. Go ahead.
there's a whole thing on the back end of Amazon that will say you have this many things to correct.
Mm-hmm. Mine's actually gotten to where it's smart enough that it knows that if it's a capitalized word, that it's probably a name, I think, because it's not pulled up the name since the first book. But it will pop up Kindred, and it will pop up, oh, what's the other one? Mindspeak. It will pop up that. And so it actually caught one instance where I had made Mindspeak into a different type of word. So I had to go back and fix that because my brain was like, you've got to fix that. You can't just let it go.
Hmm.
So that was pretty helpful. I liked it when they introduced that.
Yeah.
Maybe
And I agree with this to an extent. If it's every sentence, I can't.
If it's every sentence.
Yeah, that's
But
different.
if it's but if it's like every now and then,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Because my books have it every now and then. I know.
Because writers are humans, we make simple mistakes.
You're right.
Eva says, when I come across an unedited book, it isn't the spelling or grammar, it's the storytelling, plot, and pacing.
So this is where, as an indie author, you need beta readers. You need an extra program to help you out. If you don't have those beta readers or alpha readers or something like that.
Someone other than yourself has to take a look at it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because our brains, sadly, and this is a thing that they have actually proven, your brain will see the correct thing no matter how wrong it is, especially if it's something you yourself wrote, which is why I'm always telling people, listen to your book or read it out loud. And then when you get near the end of the process, pick a voice as far from your own as you can find and have that voice read your book to you. Change the font when you're editing. Between editing drafts, change your font. That is a reset. I did a tutorial 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I don't know when. I did it ago, just recently, about why printed proofs to edit are so important, because it changes the way your brain processes the information. And that and it's like, sadly, I've known Wattpad authors who just took it off Wattpad, ran it through Google Docs to check the editing, and dumped it on Amazon. And then they were like, everybody hates my book.
Well,
I'm glad that you have 100,000 likes on Wattpad. However, so yeah, it's
and coming from collaborative writing, us with our popping tennis play back and forth between characters, we had to go through and fix all of that. So yeah, I mean, even with a beta reader, there are times when I'm going back and if I'm reading it out loud, then I catch stuff because I'm like, oh, that was said in their voice, not the other person, the point of view voice. So then I have to go back and fix it. So yeah, yeah, exactly. I will skim past a mistake because I'm reading it the way I wanted to type it and not the way it's actually typed.
And if you're using fantasy name spellings, they have done psychological tests on this. If the first letter and the last letter are right, your brain will play Scrabble with those letters to make it seem like the right word. Your brain will.
That right there is why I'm able to, like, as long as the story's good, I can skip over the grammar mistakes because I don't even see them. They're not even existent.
Yeah, it's and unfortunately those are things that fuel the impy people the people who will say things that will feed the imp and make you think one of my first rejections was, you should stop writing, it's obvious you have brain damage. That was from an agent that I applied to for
How is that
progressive
even necessary? I mean, it's why do people got to be haters like that? I mean, just say,
I don't
you
follow
know.
any one of them particularly. I don't. I made my Frankenstein one. I actually have it on my website to show people I made a Frankenstein one. So
it's I don't know why people feel like they need to tear other people down. And the only thing I have that I can do this is, if you go back, there was a bunch of movies in the late 90s and early 2000s, like The Heathers, and Mean Girls and things like that, where people build themselves up by just humiliating or putting down everyone around them. And now we have it, it used to be face to face, but now we have the internet and everyone can just put down everyone else without impunity because it's just pixels and they don't have to see the damage it causes.
Yeah.
my chat doesn't
I'm
auto
always
scroll,
saying
so
I
I'm
hate people.
constantly looking back and forth. I said my chat doesn't auto scroll, so I'm constantly looking back and forth. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'm having to do the same thing because I'm watching like YouTube on this side and waiting for it to pop up in Streamlabs.
That little bit of space.
Yeah, Jenna has a point. If you're too much like what I do for coaching and writing, if I hear my so-called friends that look down their noses one more time, yeah.
Explain that to me. What I didn't understand.
Okay, what she means is if like people who will feel competition against someone who is in the same field they are, and not ignoring the fact that there is literally enough editing and coaching and all of that to go around for everyone, they will destroy someone that they see. They will destroy the closest person they see to them as a competitor, rather than accept that there's enough for all of us, because believe me, there's enough for all of us.
Yeah. Same way with being an author. There's your book isn't for everybody and their book isn't for everybody, but you got your own fans. So
yeah, it's hard for it, and it's
right.
Okay, and here's the thing is, there's enough writers with different styles of writing and enough editors who edit those different styles that
So yeah, for example, like my first editor didn't get it. Like I was very happy to go back and give my stuff to her because to Jenna, because I was like, it just didn't work. But now that I have an editor that actually understands what's going on in my books and stuff, and Dawn doesn't get this part of it because she's the writer. She's the creative part, and I'm the, oddly enough, analytical part when it comes to this stuff. So that part of it is like so niche almost, I guess is the best word that I can think of. There are so many editors out there because not every editor is for every book.
And you need an editor that understands your style and your world motivation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's if you want something completely different, like for content and style wise, that's why you either have an alpha reader in the very beginning that is outside your world, or you have ARC readers at the very end, right before you release, that can look at it, read through. And I know people argue against this, but I always say, have someone outside your genre read your book. Because people inside your genre, they know the expectations. They know what they're looking for. They know. And their brain will build things that aren't actually in the book because they already have that framework. It's like a skyscraper. They can see the framework and they know what's to go inside and what's to go outside. And you may think you're building a steel and glass tower when you're actually building a stick and stone hovel. And you and your group might not see it. Yeah. So, that's, I have TDM, I have the dramatic Mara, and we live in the same world together. The problem, but we also have readers that are outside the world. And
yeah. Okay. I hate to cut this short, but I know one of us has to go. So
yeah, we have Faded Fantasy short story competition.
That's why I'm all made it.
You have to go put your horn.
I just got to get my.
You have to put your horn on.
My horns do not like this set. Hang on. There. I'll just hold them here.
Man, some of the stories yesterday were amazing.
Right? See, I wasn't a judge, so I didn't get to read all
the
of
last
them.
The last two were so good. I was like, oh, mine is so bad.
Yours is great. It's a much needed comedy and
mine was Starkey.
Burst of reality. I loved it.
But yeah, especially the Bellmaker's Daughter.
Yes,
that one.
I'm gonna have to watch the replay. I completely forgot all about it.
Yeah, Bellmaker's Daughter is the last one, and it is.
At first, I was wondering if it was just because it was the last one read, but it's not. Like, it really was the thought that went into that story to make it so short and yet so it really hit your gut.
Oh. And the end of it was like.
Anyway,
thank you everyone for joining us for this for two very difficult topics today.
Thank you for answering my questions too. Like it just came out of nowhere, but it was something that I had thought about before. Why would they do that? So thanks for putting some stuff on there for me.
Yeah.
It's because people suck. Oh wait, no. Words are better.
Here.
Words are better. People suck. Yeah. No, don't listen. No.
Will there be a replay of the Faded Fantasy? Yeah, he's leaving it on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do our outros, and we'll put a pin in this conversation because we can always hit it next Sunday if we're having it on Father's Day. I don't know yet.
I won't be here next Sunday.
We will probably just hold off on next Sunday then, because I doubt that I will have the mental capacity to do such.
Yep, my kids will be here, so.
Yeah. All right. So everybody want to do your outros? You wanted to go opposite?
Sure.
Rach first.
Oh, okay. I'm Rach, Rachel D. Adams, as an author, and I write urban fantasy, paranormal romance, along with all kinds of other stuff along the way. And I also have a blog for authors to check out. Just check out my website, racheldadams.com, and see what you can find in the author's resources.
Hello, lovelies. Mama Maggie Ward, independent author, stroke survivor, migraine overcomer. Have books. The last one, Darkness of the Devourer, just came out last weekend. I also am part of the Faded Fantasy with the story submission and modding. And take a break, write a short story. Your words are worth it, and someone is waiting to hear your story.
Hi, everyone. My name is Skye. I'm a fantasy author who typically writes paranormal romance on S.T. Haggis, and I'm just happy I made it today.
I'm Rita over at Miranda's Cauldron. Miranda's my pen name. When I finally get published, hopefully later this year, I write young adult urban fantasy paranormal because of witches and elementals with family secrets.
Nice. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We will be here not next Sunday, but the Sunday after that for sure with another conversation like this one.
Sunday.
What?
No, that's in 2 Sundays. Sunday at the end of the month is AWC.
Yeah. So the last Sunday of the month, we're not holding it, and Father's Day, we're not holding it. So we'll be in the one in between.
The 22nd.
22nd. Thank you. All right, cool. Yeah. We will see y'all over at Faded Fantasy Stories, and we will see you Sunday after next. Y'all have a great day. Bye.